Hello, everyone. It's Dr. LaQuetta Solomon here. I know, right? I got a new do for today, right? You were used to seeing me with the curly, and now I'm back on, and I got my new do on. But tonight, listen, I'm not really going to be on. You're going to be in for a phenomenal treat. A phenomenal treat. You're going to meet some powerful, powerful ladies who are they're going to talk about girl exhale. And so I want you to tag, like, share. Tag, like, share. I'm getting ready to do the same thing. So what I need you to do is go on your Facebook page. We are actually on YouTube as well. And I need you to tag, like, and share. This is something you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss this conversation. You do not want to miss this conversation that we're getting ready to have right at this moment. And so I am tagging, liking, and sharing. I'm actually going to tag also those who are in this particular segment. And I want you all, as you are listening, just put she breathes, girl exhale. She breathes, girl exhale. And we're getting ready to get started. I got kicked off, and I'm going to tell on one of them. One of my mentees had the nerve to say, Dr. Solomon, you're not coming on, right? You're not coming on, Dr. Solomon. You're not coming on. And I'm saying that with that tone because when she speaks, you will know it was her that said, Dr. Solomon, you're not supposed to be on. You're not coming on. And so we're getting ready to go forward and have this conversation. My daughter is going to be on. I know she's going to be getting off soon. So when you see her get off, you'll know that she has something else to do. And so welcome to Girl Exhale. And so I'm getting ready to bring all of these young ladies on, and Miss Mernica, who is a therapist. She is actually going to ask the questions, right? And I'm getting ready to decrease. I feel very, very upset right now because they actually made me get off, right? Maris, I think you are muted. And so you got to unmute. I hear something in the background. So you guys will make sure that your Facebook is off. All right. See you guys later. Have a good time. And listen, invite somebody. I think I'm going to try to come back later if they allow me to. But for now, I'm out of here. I'm going to be commenting in the chat. And so make sure you're interactive at this time. See you all later. Bye.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We're going to start with some introductions. So, since Amaris is on a tight schedule, she's so busy these days. We're so excited for all God has in store for her, and congratulations.
Thank you.
If you could introduce yourself.
I'm going to do it my HBCU way since I'm here. Greetings. I am Amaris Gamble. I am a sophomore. I attend the Johnson C. Smith University, where I am a social work major. I currently serve, as of today, as my sophomore class senator for the 2026-2027 academic school year, as well as the secretary for our campus activity board. And I'm all over the place. I'm doing a lot, but that's who I am.
Amen. To God be the glory. Great things in store. All right, so we're going to move on to Miss Kayla, since she's next to you on my screen.
Oh, hi, everyone. I'm Kayla. So, short introduction about me. I recently just graduated with my bachelor's in healthcare policy management. I am continuing my educational journey. I will be looking to get a dual master's in healthcare policy management and public health. I'm currently working as a pharmaceutical technician, and I will be getting licensure for that soon.
Awesome. Big things. Okay. All right, Kiana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kiana. I just recently graduated with my bachelor's in social work. I'm currently in my master's program. I should be done next year, May 2027. For work, I pretty much work in a social care space, pretty much providing technical assistance to people who need nutrition and housing services. But I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Awesome. I'm excited. And I'm Mernica Lewis. I am an LMSW adjunct professor at St. Joseph's College, doctoral student, behavioral health counselor at Northwell Health, all the things. And I am glad to be here amongst these powerful young ladies, our next generation here. So thank you all for joining us again. Amaris, I'm not sure if you're frozen, but I did want to start with you question-wise, just because I do know that you are very busy. Okay. I think she's frozen. I think we lost her, guys.
Yeah.
All right, that's okay. Moving along. So between Kiana and Kayla, when you hear the words "girl exhale," what do they mean to you? Why do girls need safe spaces where they can be honest about what they are experiencing?
Okay, I'll start. Because sometimes you need someone to validate that you're not crazy. Because in a world and working with healthcare and working with people, you can be in some situations that have you like, are we okay today? But I did see and I saw that like it is mandatory for girls. It was like a post I saw on Instagram that we actually need girl time. Like we need to go out like every certain amount of days to like recollect and breathe and take time for ourselves. And I think in all sense to have the validation of like, girl, you're not bugging. It's okay.
Yes, that's definitely needed in our sister circles, right? Just having that validation and that support, something that, we weren't taught to have, right? We were taught to be strong and do things independently. So changing the narrative there. How about you, Kiana?
So when I think of Girl Exhale, I just think of release. I think it's important for us to be able to release what we have going on with us. Sometimes we just don't have those spaces to do that. Mm-hmm. And creating those spaces is important, especially for girls and women, to be able to release and share what they're going through, what they've been through, just so you can create space for your new.
Absolutely. It's like a pseudo support group in a sense, right? Where you guys can kind of, lean on each other and learn different skills, because more times we're all going through the same thing. We're just not really talking about it, right? So next we're going to talk about taking off the mask, right? So what are some of the masks girls wear to appear confident, happy, or unbothered? What would you say to the girl who feels she must hide her emotions to avoid being judged?
Oof.
I know that was
it depends because it depends on in which way you say it, because if you're looking at it from like, okay, you're a woman, and then if you're a woman of color, like I'm a Black woman, so when we talk about emotions and things of that nature, even now, like people, I feel like sometimes if I say something, I always gotta like go back and I gotta make sure like people are okay, or they don't take me the wrong way, or they like understand me. But then it's like I have people who know me, and it's like sometimes it's kind of just like I think understanding each other and knowing who we are. And it's like when you know your sisters, then nothing that is ever said comes with an ill intent. There's nothing that and even if it's said the wrong way, there should be a level of comfortability where you can say, hey, did you really mean that, girl? I know you probably didn't mean it, but in that moment, it just came off like this way.
Absolutely.
But I would definitely say, like, as a woman, I think a lot with our emotions, I know we shut down a lot. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Because then it's like, I feel like a lot of times with us, I hear a lot, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I speak up. Oh, it's like, oh my God, now she's aggressive. She's rude. She's this. I don't say nothing. You're moving weird. You're funny. Yeah. So it's like, it's really no balance.
It's a hard thing to navigate, especially in like corporate America, right? Because you go in and it's like, okay, you just want to do your work and sit at your desk and, but it's like, oh, you're antisocial and, you always have an attitude if you don't speak, right? So it's like, going back to the damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? So that can definitely be frustrating, especially as women of color, to navigate in the professional fields. What are your thoughts, Kiana?
I feel like the mask is generational. We tend to be taught, that we have to be strong, we have to be independent, but nobody really teaches us how to be vulnerable. So I do think that it's a generational mask that it's going to take some time to like kind of let down, but once we take off the mask, we'll realize that we can be vulnerable. We can speak about what we're going through. It's actually really like liberating to do that. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I'm learning how to do that myself because I was always taught to be strong. And, you know, you got to know what you want to do. You got to be independent. Don't let nobody. And then you realize you're holding that for so long. You don't even know what vulnerability looks like. So I think it's a generational mask. But once you realize that you can take it down and be yourself and find yourself, it's going to be healing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you made some valid points there in just mentioning like the whole generational and the generational trauma that we carry. And so many people don't realize like vulnerability is a sign of strength because it's easier to kind of keep things inside opposed to letting them out. But if you can go to that place that hurt you and let it out, that requires so much more strength than just holding on to it, right? And having it be a part of you and keeping you bogged down from doing what you need to do or what you're called to do. So very good points, both of you. Very good points. So moving along, when looking at identity, comparison, and confidence, how does social media affect a girl's confidence and a sense of identity? What truth should every girl remember when she feels she is not enough? And this is a big one. So I was having a conversation with one of my 21-year-old patients today about this and just how much of an influence social media has and the influence, right? And you don't know what's real from what's not real, but so many young girls are basing their identity off of this. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Do you mind if I go? I just feel like social media makes you feel like you're behind, makes you feel like you're not getting ahead. And we have too much consumption of social media. And this is me speaking for myself. I'm almost 29 and I still feel like it's too much. We're kind of taking in too much and we're watching too much instead of working on things that we should be working on in private. We watch other people's successes and, you know, people are not sharing the hard times that come with the success and the process. And I think people are really like taking that on and then trying to compare it to their own lives. And if anything, it's making it worse for you. It's actually slowing you down. Because you're trying to do what somebody else is doing and it's not going to work for you because that's not what God has for you. That's not what God has created for you. And you have to do it the way God is asking you to do it, not, you know, the way that he has other people doing it. So
yes, for he knows the plans, right? Social media doesn't know the plans. He knows the plans. That's the scripture, right? All right. That was good. Thank you, Kayla.
For me, I feel like with social media, as I've gotten older, I treat social media with boundaries. So, meaning I let you see what I want you to see. You get the time that I want you to get. I'm not trying to keep up with no Joneses. I don't want to keep up with your cookie cutter life because a lot of these people that we trying to keep up with, they have the worst of the worst going on behind the scenes. I mean, prime example, you think somebody's in love and they got all this money. Next thing you know, you see domestic violence happening behind the scenes. Like for me, social media is a facade. And I feel like everybody tries to do what they're seeing and there's no originality. Like he's absolutely right. I feel like when it comes to personality on social media, there is none. Everybody's doing the same thing. It's all the same trends. And it's kind of does get boring after a while because it's like, okay, well, what's new? There's nothing fresh, there's nothing inviting, there's nothing refreshing. I just feel like it's just becoming negative. And then now you got all these like, now that's Zeus and you know, all these other TVs coming in and then they're just reenacting what they see and putting it to social media without thinking like, oh, I'm going to jail. Like these people get paid to do this. Y'all will go to jail.
Right. People not thinking about the consequences of their action. It's like, oh, I'm going to be social media famous. But it's like, no, you have to be careful because the internet is forever, right? Your employers are on there and, you know. But yes, very valid thoughts. And it's very important, especially for our, you know, youth to understand that, right? Not everything that we see on social media is necessarily the truth. And like you mentioned, like there was a whole thing that came out, I think, with a whole social media couple recently, right? And turned out that the person was very abusive.
All
So
that glitters is not gold.
it's not, right? They just influence and show us what they want us to see, as you said, right? So it's all sometimes a facade. It can be used in very positive ways. There are affirmations you can follow and things like that. Kiana has a wonderful page about her journey, right? Like if you use it in a good way, it can be very productive. Right. So when looking at emotional, sorry, go ahead.
I think that it's taking less time on it. Like, like your phone has a timer for different apps. Definitely use that if you have an iPhone. I think they have it for Android as well. Put that timer on so you're not spending all day watching people.
Absolutely. And going down a rabbit hole, because you can turn into like a conspiracy theorist and all the things too, right? So yeah, it's just boundaries, even with social media, as you do with people, social media as well. All right, so pivoting to emotional wellness, what would you say are some healthy ways for girls to express anger, sadness, anxiety, or disappointment? How can parents and trusted adults create an environment where girls feel safe enough to talk?
Sometimes listening and not attacking. Sometimes we need you to be a listening ear. We don't need you to tell us that, I've been through that. What you're going through is nothing. Because guess what? When you were going through it, it was something. So understand that you went through it, you got through it, and understand where I'm at. I think a lot of times it's not a lot of guidance when we come to older adults that we look for to talk to. It's more so meant with like harsh love, when it's like, I'm coming to you because I'm genuinely not okay. And I need you to hear that I'm not okay. And instead of saying maybe this isn't the place for me, ask me what's wrong with me. Because right now I'm genuinely mentally not there. So I think sometimes it's more so about listening, understanding. And I think, if I like to say it like this, if this was you and you wanted your mom in that situation, what would you want your mom to do? How would you want your mom to coddle you? And what would you want her to tell you to give you the motivation to keep going?
Right. Yes, that's good. How you want be the reflection of what you want, in a sense, right? Like
even if it's something you never got.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
You have the ability to change that trajectory.
Well, that's the importance, I think, too, of like the younger generation, right? Because we can learn from the generations before, and then we can change the trajectory, right, for the future generations. So, we see some things, and, sometimes some of our parents and grandparents, they kind of stuck in those ways, right? So, like, all right, well, I didn't like this. So, this is a learning experience for me. Let me change this for when I have my lineage, right? And, what I want them to be and how I want to rear them and what I want to pour into them, right? So
that, and I will say, because this loves to get thrown a lot, if you know me, then you shouldn't take it personal. No, it still hurts because I do know you and you are a personal person to me.
Right.
So people don't to understand that just because you think that they know you, there is some level of expectation of you.
Yes.
So there is a way that you have to move and say things.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that because I know you that what you're saying is right. So, if I tell you something is bothering me, even as a parent, right, you would hope that maybe they would take that into consideration and kind of change. So those are some ways I think that you're saying would be very beneficial. That's fantastic. How about you, Kiana?
I would say that a nurturing environment is important. I feel like, especially in Black families, we don't often create that nurturing environment. So it doesn't make it feel comfortable for people to come to somebody and say, hey, I'm going through something. And even when you are going through, if you're not in a supportive environment or a nurturing environment, like Kayla said, you kind of get hit with the old sayings like, well, you'll get through it, or you'll be okay. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Or sometimes we also get hit with what you need, the word, but sometimes we just need some nurturing. And the word too, in combination, but we need a nurturing environment.
Yes.
Especially for like any kind of relationship, but like specifically, let's talk about like mother-daughter relationships. Sometimes you need that nurturing, especially for like I think that's the perfect space for especially young girls to express what they're going through, to have a woman in their lives that they can see that is doing good for themselves, but telling them the truth.
Yeah.
Telling them the truth about life,
Mhm.
because it's not easy and it is hard. And although, you know, more things will happen in life, good things will happen, we have to talk about the parts that hurt. Because if we don't, we'll keep repeating the same patterns. And I feel like a lot of young girls miss out on being able to talk about the parts that hurt, because it's being taken as it's not that bad because I went through worse.
Right.
But it still matters because it hurts for them.
Can I just add also too for like moms as your kids get older? It is not a crime for y'all to sit y'all kids down and be honest with us. Sit us down. Because once we get older, we need those conversations. When I sit down with my mom now, like, and I talk to her about things, and, you know, it's like I always grow a deeper level of appreciation with her because she'll give it to me. She's like, you know, I get it. It's not easy, but, you know, you just got to play the game. And she'll give me the corporate download and how you got to move and things of that nature. And it's like, those are the tips that you need. Those are the little wisdoms that I'm going to take and I'm going to keep with me. So as your kids get older, it's needed. It's okay to tell them, listen, it wasn't easy. I did this. I failed because we failing. We don't got it all together. We need that.
Absolutely. With the honesty.
I really am not supposed to be on here, but Kiana said something. I'm going to get back off. Y'all got to go back to talk about the parts that hurt. That was an exclamation point. And I think that leads right back to girl exhale, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. Parents don't talk about the parts that hurt. And then Kayla came around and made it a little more specific, like sit us down. These girls, we need to be sat down and let's talk. So can y'all go back there and have a little dialogue about that? All right, bye.
Yeah. When I say talk about the parts that hurts, I think as girls, I mean, especially young girls, as you grow, like in your teenage years or anything like that, you have to be comfortable with telling people, talking about what you're going through. It's not easy. You may not always have the spaces, but one thing I've learned how to do, especially with the things that I went through, is talk about it. Now I'm at a space where, as an adult woman, where I can share what I'm going through with others. And, you know, I think we have to have the courage and confidence to say, like, hey, I'm going through a lot right now. I need help. Sometimes we're scared to tug on people, but if they're in your community, they're in your village, tug on them. That's what they're there for. God placed them in your life for a reason. And especially spiritually, if they're in your life spiritually, tug on them. That is their duty in your life, to basically speak to you, speak life into you. That's what we're here for. We're here to speak life into each other. We're here to help each other. So especially as a parent, as a mentor, as a friend, we should be able to do that. I don't think we're doing that enough. Sometimes we're just staying in our spaces, and we're not sharing the real. Like, yes, I hurt too at one point in my life, and this is what I did to get better. So,
and sometimes I think parents feel like they don't want you to feel what they went through, but it's like we feel it in it comes out in different ways.
We are feeling it because they're not dealing with it.
We're feeling it. We know that many things happened because it's very apparent, right? So, you know.
And I don't think that they know that, like, as you get older, you pick up on things. Like, we're very observant. Like, I can tell why your energy's off with your mother. I can tell why your energy's off with your father. I can see the trauma there that y'all never healed. And just because y'all don't talk about these things does not mean that it does not affect your behavior. It does not affect the way that you act. It doesn't affect the way that you move, because it does. I could come have a simple conversation with you and mention something that I experienced when I was 6, And now you're triggered talking about everything that you did to me and how you helped me make it through. And I'm like, how did we get here? I just was talking about a situation that I remembered. And now
Right.
you're triggered. And now I got to relive everything. And I was the strong Black woman. Granted, not taking that away from you, but you're not dealing with your stuff. You're just passing it down. And I think more so we're the generation that's kind of like stopping it. Because I
Yeah.
know me personally, I don't want your generational traumas. I don't. I rebuke them because I don't got the time trying to adult and deal with your generational traumas. It's just a no
No.
for me.
And parent your parent at the same time. And like, right is right and wrong is wrong. And we're adults.
You know?
Right.
And
And
on
I
top
wanted
of
to
trying to
say,
grow, build a career for yourself, and then
Yeah.
no, then I gotta fight with my spiritual life, fight with my generational curses. No.
Yes.
I
Yes.
feel like one of the things, the reality sometimes is that people may not heal in this lifetime.
Mm,
That's just the sad reality. But
Yeah.
what we can do is acknowledge it, learn to be okay with it, accept it.
Yes.
And what I've told myself sometimes, most times, honestly, is that, okay, that happened. This person may not be there for me, but am I going to stay in this space where I'm going to act like, oh, well, nobody taught me? No, I learned from it and I
Yes.
move forward. Sometimes you're not going to have the help. You're not going to have the
Mhm.
listening ear. So you have to teach yourself how to keep going.
Yes.
Also with supports, don't forget about your supports. There are people that you can lean into. There is therapy. There are things like church, spiritual leadership,
Mentorship.
things that you can, mentorship, like that you can lean into. And
Absolutely.
sometimes the journey is very lonely. Like that's
Mhm.
also real. Sometimes you won't have that support at all, but
Mhm.
it does not mean that you won't go far or that there's not more in store for you. Sometimes you have to find the spaces
Mhm.
to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
And that's what I had to do in my journey. I didn't always have a vulnerable space. I had to go find those spaces myself. And
Yeah.
that's its strength in itself.
And that just goes to show too that even though you went through that journey alone, it wasn't permanent, right? You got out of it. And then you were able to accommodate and get your circle that you needed and the sisterhood that you needed and the mentorship that you needed and the therapy that you needed and the church and everything that you needed, right? So sometimes we got to go through those little lonely things, right? But the journey is not always going to be alone. And sometimes it is the journey that, it's a quote I love to say, the journey sometimes does teach you about your destination, right? And sometimes, it's a little tough. But that road to success, I always say it's squiggly. It's never a straight line, but it's worth it.
My dad always used to say it's joy in the journey. And I really do believe that. There's still joy in the journey.
Yes, absolutely. That was
and I will say, as you get older, you make your own journey.
yeah.
As I've gotten older, I will definitely say I've made my own journey. I have my own family that, some I've adopted. I have my blood family.
Chosen
Then I
family.
have my sisterhood that, I was trying real hard to be like, y'all can be over there. But, now I'm all in there like swimwear. So it's like, I will definitely say, like, as you get older, it's okay to like choose your peace. And I will say, like, we have this stigma that like cutting off people is such a bad thing, but sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes people have, you can't give the person the ability to shake your aura if you don't let them in your aura.
Yes.
And that's what I've learned. So if I have to protect my aura, I'm going to do that at all times.
Yes. I always do this little corny saying when I'm doing therapy sometimes, but it's so factual, right? Like when you go on the plane and when the flight attendant says like you have to, before you help somebody else, you need to put your oxygen mask on first, right? So sometimes putting that oxygen mask on first means setting the boundaries and saying like, hey, no, I got to love you from a distance, or hey, yeah, I just can't be friends with you anymore. And that's okay, right? So sometimes you do have to prioritize yourself, and that is a wonderful way for us to pivot into boundaries and relationships. So how can a girl set boundaries and say no, the famous word no, without feeling guilty? What does healthy, safe sisterhood look and feel like?
I would like to start. So, in terms of boundaries, I think it's important to, when somebody's doing something or asking you to do something or asking for something from you, you need to look at it from a way of like, how is this going to affect me long term? That's a good way to create boundaries. And this is something that I'm learning as a person who likes to help. I'm like a helper. I want to do stuff for people. I want to make people a people pleaser pretty much. But you have to look at how it's going to affect you long term. It's okay to say no. And you're not responsible for other people's reactions. They'll be upset. You'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll also go find somebody else to ask. That's what people do. So it's okay to say no to people. Life will go on for sure.
Absolutely. No is a complete sentence. And I say that all the time, period. No explanation needed. All right, Kayla.
I would say understanding what your needs are. Well, understanding what your needs are, understanding what your expectations are. Like he says, so I know I'll speak on myself. Like I have a trait to help people. So I do have a hard time saying no, which is now as I'm 26, I am getting more selfish and saying no. But I also recognize like, if I sometimes I have to stop myself and I'm like, am I saying yes because I'm trying to be a good friend? Or am I saying yes because I'm trying to be a people pleaser? It's sometimes I have to catch myself because there's people where I just met and it's like you're asking me for stuff, but it's like he said, how is this going to impact me on the long run? Because if I start doing this now, then it starts to trend for the long run. And as someone who has experienced it, she is not wrong. And it does get a lot harder to set that boundary after.
Yes. Because we teach people how to treat us in a sense, right? So it's like
you
let it slide, you let that slide, and then just
you start skating.
Right. And sometimes you do for others that you want done for yourself, but we can't expect us from other people, right? Because
exactly
they're not going to do what we do because we're unique, right? Sorry, Kiana, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just think that like when you keep saying no to stuff that you don't want to say, when you keep saying yes to things that you want to say no to, you become resentful. You do. And it creates a friction in the relationships that you probably don't want friction in at all. And you're probably sitting there like asking yourself, like, why every time this person asks me for something, I got an attitude or I'm upset. It's because you become resentful of the person. The good way to handle relationships is to create those boundaries. Be honest, like, hey, like I can't, and you don't have to give an explanation. Like no, like you said, no is no. Like I don't have to explain to you why I'm saying no to you. I just can't. And I know it's harder, especially with family, and people that are very close to you, but you have to say no to them as well.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes people don't realize that what they're asking of you is
a lot.
Just a lot, yeah. Taking up too much space and energy. So that's
setting those boundaries. And it's a good topic, and I think that's a topic for another day, the whole people pleasing, because it is a form of a trauma response, right? Because you learn through your trauma sometimes, like, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. And like you blur the lines with everything. Yeah, I can help, right? Because you wanted that help. So, like you try to be that person, but healing from that trauma too kind of helps us to set those boundaries as well and know, like, all right, I don't always have to say yes, and it doesn't make me a bad person if I say no and I prioritize myself, right? So that is a conversation for another day, that whole trauma and people pleasing. That's Dr. Solomon's going to do that one. Right. So when we look at our faith, how can faith help a girl navigate insecurity, pressure, and uncertainty? What does it mean for a girl to become the young woman God created her to be? And you made very good points, Kiana, when you brought up like faith and, leaning into the spiritual guidance, like the spiritual mother, father, church member, pastor, somebody. What does that look like? How can someone navigate and use their faith as to help with like insecurity, pressure, and uncertainty?
For me, I think in my experience, that's something I had to lean on very heavily, especially when I was going through the passing of losing my dad. One of the things I did do is reach out to my bishop and he gave me spiritual counseling during that time, and it was very helpful. Sometimes there's situations that you're going to be in that are 911, and natural things is just not gonna cut it. It's just not. Sometimes you can breathe in and breathe out, but you need prayer. Like, you need prayer. You need somebody to war with you in the spirit. There's gonna be times where you don't have no words, and you need somebody that intercede on your behalf. And I feel like sometimes we forget that God is there, but he's been with us the whole time. He never changes. People do, but he doesn't. So I feel like leaning into God is going to give you strength when there's nothing else around you that you can hold on to. That's the only thing that you might be able to hold on to be honest, knowing that God is there, and that if people don't have the words, they know they have scripture. They know what the words say. So that's how I feel. I still do it. Like, there's just times where all I can lean on is God, because there is nothing else to lean on. Like, there's nothing else that is, I guess, in my reach to lean on to. And
as fulfilling, maybe too, right?
Like, there's like times where
lean on him.
Yes, I was like sad, and I was going through like anxiety, and I would sit here at my desk and just read his word, and I would get revelation from that. And those moments, time after time, anxiety fell off of me, shame fell off of me. I remember there was a point that I wasn't going to church often, and I remember I would go every Thursday. That was my day. I was like, I can't go on Sundays. I'm just not there yet, but I'm gonna go every Thursday. And I was so shameful sitting in those seats every Thursday, because I thought every sermon was about me. I was like, oh, he's talking about me. But he's not. He wasn't talking about me, but it was, relating with me, and the conviction was there. And then over time, I was no longer shameful. I was able to show up and sit in those seats and not be sitting around looking around like, oh, they laughing at me. Like, they talk about me. It just falls off of you. It brings a peace that you can't understand.
All understanding.
Exactly.
Amen. Yes. Amen. All right. I know, Kayla, it's a hard one to come after.
I'm about to say, you're not going to make me go after that. I'm trying to hold it together.
I know. I'm like, girl, I got chills over here. About to make me catch the spirit.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. But yes, you spoke. It's no peace like the peace of the Lord, and really giving it to him, and not letting your flesh consume you, and letting your emotions take control of you, right? Just releasing it and giving it to God. It is really a peace that surpasses. People don't understand, but it's supernatural. So very, very well said. All right, Kayla, you still gonna answer this question though?
Okay. For me, I feel like it's a little different. I did have a little guidance along the way. My godmom kind of was my she helped me with a lot of my spiritual guidance. Even now as I'm getting older, I have branched out. Like, I have gone to Thursday services with Keys. I have watched them, and just even now, I just seek more like from my own understanding. Like, when I read my Bible, I put my little prayers in there. I put my worries in there. I put everything in this Bible, because I feel like at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm understanding. Like, I'm not the driver here. There's nothing in me that I could keep doing that's going to put my direction in the way it's going to go. I could keep trying, but I'm going to keep hitting a dead end. So I'm like, I do take the little serenity prayer. I do ask God to keep giving me the strength to just put me in the position. I ask for, I pray over my mind. I say, hey, like, put me in a position to keep my sanity. Just always keep me in a positive space, even when it comes to myself. Like, even if I'm feeling off, I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. Maybe I might be feeling a little aggressive today, or I might be feeling a little sad. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm just like, I just need you to help me regulate my emotions.
Yes. Amen. And you said something too. It's like, when you're waiting for something, and sometimes you keep going through the same thing. And this is something that comes to me all the time, because this is something that I struggle with also. It is about like our surrender. And sometimes we continue to go through a lot of the same things because of our unwillingness to surrender and fully submit to the will of the Lord. And,
You
sometimes
know,
that is what.
and just because you're numb, I will say this: numbing is not surrendering. Just
No,
because you numb it and choose not to acknowledge it does not
yes,
mean you
exactly.
surrender.
Yes,
Because
yes,
it takes that one trigger to put you right back at square one.
yeah, right there. Yes.
I also feel like we often like overthink our spiritual relationship with God, like our personal relationship we build with God. Because I tend to do, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. And what if it's just as simple as just talking to him? Like just acknowledging him. You don't gotta, go crazy. What if it's just like sitting down and in a silent space and just saying like, hey God, like I know you just see what happened today. I know, like I know you just
It's like,
seen
sorry.
Trying to cut you out, but sometimes you gotta talk to God like the homie, like, hey, you don't see me down here, you see me.
Right.
You
like,
see me, and I think we overthink it. I think also we're so focused on the performance rather than the actual relationship, and I think we need to focus on the praying, the actually speaking to God, and just setting aside a time, time aside. Don't make it complicated, especially at first, especially coming into God. When you make it complicated, you just won't do it. I was there. You just are not going to do it. But if you simplify it and just pretty much just say, hey, like, God, today was a rough day and I'm sad today. Journal it. If you don't feel like talking, journal it. That's a good way to let it out as well. I do it. I do both.
That, or even if you do like the little Bible apps, you get an app that reminds you to pray. Like I have one that tells me to pray in the morning, pray at night. It gives me my devotional. It also explains to me like what I read, and then it has a prayer. It's like little things like that, like setting the time for stuff like that.
Yes, those devotionals are very, very, very helpful as well. Very inspiring and encouraging. This is good. This is good, ladies. I'm encouraged. So as we promote Girl Exhale, what can girls and parents expect from the Exhale experience? What do you hope every girl leaves believing about themselves?
I would say that it's okay to talk about how you feel. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be honest about what you're going through, especially in that space. We're not here to judge you. We're here to help you through it. And there's people qualified that's going to be in the building to help you through it. So I feel like, breathe. It's okay to breathe. Just breathe.
Exhale. Let it out.
Exhale. Because we all got to do it. It's, you're not alone.
And it's okay, as you said. It's okay. All right, Kayla.
I would say one thing I love about this event is that it's in PJs because I don't know, for me, PJs give me a sense of comfort.
Yes.
So in coming to this experience, I expect the girls to feel comfortable. I would say lean into the sisterhood that's there. I will say, even speaking on myself, you need your sisters, and sometimes life be life, and it's okay to like take your mask off and let your hair down and let your sisters know like, hey, I'm having a hard time, but I needed this today and I appreciate it, and I hope that it's a safe space, as we always promote, but I just hope that everybody just comes and everybody just takes what they need.
Yes, amen. And it is a safe space, warm, open environment. We do have professionals in the building. Exhale, let it all out. That is what we are here for. So, in closing, if you both could complete the sentence for me. At Girl Exhale, every girl will have permission to. What would you say directly to the girl who is watching while silently carrying something heavy?
You have the permission to live. You have the permission to live. Sometimes we're fearful. We're thinking too far ahead, worrying all the time, but you have the permission to live your life. The hurt, it happened. The pain, it happened. The grief is there, but you can live.
You have the permission to live. I saw something today about grief, and I'm gonna get to you, Kayla. But it just mentioned how with grief, it's not that you kind of you don't lose yourself. You're kind of reborn in a sense, right? You're reborn into like a new person. You're just learning to navigate life a little bit differently. So that even comes with healing, right? So you just learn to navigate things a little bit differently. Your trauma, you can be reborn from that. So it's okay to live. I love that. All right, Kayla.
I would say you have permission to start over. I would say whatever
Yes.
you've been carrying, whatever you've been speaking about, once you leave there, start over. Let whatever has been holding you back, no matter it's been 20, 40, 50 years, you leave it there. And once you leave those doors, that's your permission to start over and go after the life that you want.
Yes. Starting over. Amen. You guys dropped some jewels, some gems. I'm excited. I hope I can stay in the youth group. I know y'all trying to kick me out because I'm like almost at the end of my 30s, but I'm still in there. So but wonderful job, ladies. I am encouraged. I am excited to even be able to sit in with you guys today, and I'll be in on Friday a little bit. And I see our amazing mentor, Dr. Solomon, has joined us.
You muted because your dog is loud.
Yes, you heard her barking. So embarrassing.
Well, why don't you finish the sentence? Finish the sentence. You asked them. Finish the sentence for the girls. It's okay. Your dog is loud. We know.
You heard her. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I would say you have the permission to be vulnerable. You do not have to be strong. You can put your shoulders down. You can relax. You can lean on each other. You can lean on us. You can cry. Just feel free. You have the permission to be free. Be vulnerable. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to hold on to everything that's hurting you. Just relinquish it. Let it go. That's what I would say you have permission to do.
Wow. And Bishop Al Henry is on, Kiana, and you talked about him. He's on his cruise celebrating his anniversary with Lady Henry.
Happy anniversary.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
And he has been commenting. And what he has said was every girl will have permission to forgive themselves for letting themselves go and now having the power to dictate what happens the next. And so those who are watching, I want you to put what you believe the girls will have permission. He said, I'm excited for this next generation of young adult professionals. And Bishop, you could not have said it better. I tried not to cry. I was screaming when Kiana was talking, when Kayla was talking. Mernica was trying to hold herself together. But you ladies, I am so proud. And I know I'm very hard on y'all. I know. I got convicted tonight. I apologize. No, I don't apologize.
Don't apologize. We take it.
I don't apologize. It was coming. It was coming. But let me tell you, I want to tell you that I am overwhelmed. And I believe that we are leaving the next layer and level of healers that's needed in the world. We're leaving you all in good hands, community, because you're looking at three ladies that are going to go to the next dimension of healing to make sure. I heard Kayla when she said, I rebuke that. I rebuke your trauma. I'm not living in your trauma. And to hear a young woman understand the impact trauma has intergenerationally had and decide that I am the repairer of the breach, it stops with me. When Kiana said, listen, I had to tap on my bishop, my pastor, that natural stuff wasn't working. I needed someone to war with me, to war with me in order to help me get out of where I was going. And so I want to say, you all, whoever's listening, you have a young lady between the age of 10 and 17, sign them up. Go to my page. I am going to repost the link. We have already closed the door for women. We are at our capacity that I wanted to reach. We're kind of over it, but we're going to close it down. But young ladies, there's about maybe 5 more seats for young women between the ages of 10 and 17. This is free. We want to be able to pour into you, and you will be able to pour out that stuff that's heavy, the stuff that Kayla talked about, the stuff that Kiana talked about, the stuff that Mernica talked about. Join us this Friday. Join us this Friday. And if you need more information, let us know. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this time of fellowship, of sisterhood, of healing. And I believe we all need healing on some level. And so I want to end by saying to each one of you, I know you all went around already. Amaris had to leave. She texted me. She just became a senator, so she got like 1,000 things to do. But we will see her Friday. I want you all to just give me one word that you think a little girl, a young lady needs to hear between the ages of 10 and 17. Just one word of encouragement.
I don't have one word. It's a statement.
All right, go ahead.
You are loved. Well, really, I wanted to say I love you because a lot of people, you know what? But you are loved.
No, say I love you. You could say, because speak to somebody.
Well, I love you. Yes, I love you. Yeah.
Wow. That was heavy. Whoa.
That was deep.
Whoa. Somebody needed to hear that. Tell me why that was your word for.
I don't know. It just came to mind. I think sometimes, you forget that you are loved and you are loved according to the word as well. So I feel like it's needed to be said because we don't say it often as we should.
Wow. I can't even talk, and I want to talk English. We're not going to start speaking in tongues here. Kiana be like, really, Dr. Solomon? Not today. All right, Kayla?
So I would say I got you, but mine is followed with a hug because I think the embrace is needed.
Ooh.
Amen.
Tell us why you think the embrace is so needed.
I feel like younger girls, it is very important to love on them so that they do not go looking for love elsewhere.
Yes, I love that.
Especially because the love that they're looking for may not be the love that they're ready for.
Ooh, the love that they're looking for may not be the love that they're ready for. Wow.
That's heavy.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow. Mernica?
Yes. I would just say that mine is corny, that you are greatness and you are destined for greatness.
Tell us why you think they need to hear that.
Because I don't believe that society, especially for women of color, have made us feel that we are great or greatness or can achieve and be capable of greatness. So if they can even see from us that, we can do the impossible and reach the unthinkable, I think that would be very inspiring and encouraging to see women that look like them be in positions that they are in.
Wow.
And healed from the things that they've gone through, because it won't always be like that.
Woo! It won't always be like that. Wow. Well, I hope. My mother said, love it. Bishop said, embrace is needed, because oftentimes the rejection they receive within their community restricts their development. Wow. My mom said she loves all of this. And I just want to say, listen, these ladies did phenomenal tonight. I am so godly proud of each and every one of you all. I believe that you all spoke to the heart of some young lady, of some mother. I want you all to tag, like, and share this particular live, because I believe what was discussed tonight will begin the healing process of some little girl, that they don't have to worry about growing up and the little girl still being something that was restricted, that was never embraced, that was never told that they were loved, that was never told that there is hope for tomorrow. I believe that when you share this live, I believe that some little girl will begin to get a glimmer of hope to know that tomorrow is better, that tomorrow can come, and they don't have to live in the throes and the trauma of yesterday. I believe, Kayla, Kiana, and Mernica, you have touched some woman, some grown woman, and you have poured into them what they need to be able to help and assist. As Kiana said, that's the role. That's the role of the mothers of the church, of the women in the church, to pour in to the young women. And that is so scriptural. And I want to say to you, all of you all, that I believe you gave us all a reality check. You gave us all a reality check. Kayla, you gave us a reality check of how to approach. Kiana, you gave us a reality check about our position. And Mernica, you gave us a reality check about how we can help others heal. And so listen, if you would like to be a blessing to this conference, we are still taking sponsorships and donations. If Amanda or Mernica, if you could put in the chat our Cash App, or our Zelle. We have received some donations to help us be able to get this word out, to be able to help as many women as we can. For the young ladies, it's free. For the women, we asked for a nominal fee, and that fee was very, very small. I got in trouble about the fee being small by my spiritual father that's on this line tonight. Yeah, I got in trouble. That's all I want to say. And my mentor, I got in trouble with Dr. Janola Morales, who also fussed at me. And then my big sister called me, and I'm going to put her on blast, Dr. Tasha Baston, and fussed at me too. And so I just thank God for my community. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for watching, and also lending your ear to these women. These are the next generation of healers that God is placing in the world. And it is my honor to do my little small part to help you catapult on your journey. My part is very small, and I understand that, but it is my honor and a privilege. I know I am hard on each and every one of you all, but it's for the good. It's for the good. And so I want to thank you. I know Overseer Dawn Mixon was also on, and we are so happy to have host this at her church, which is my church, Mount Calvary Holy Church of Huntington. We are looking forward to tomorrow night. And so if you want to be a blessing, please so. This will ensure that everyone who's coming in from out of town, is taken care of, and that we will have met the mission that God has given us, and that is to help others heal, bring healing, bring understanding and restoration. So we thank you all tonight for listening in. Tag, like, and share. And listen, you can find Kiana on her TikTok. She does a show in regards to helping young women going back to school. Hopefully Kayla has her stuff up. Kayla, you need to get your stuff up.
I do.
Well.
I just relaunched it. It's
All
called
right.
Her True Essence. I did.
All right. Can you put that in the chat somewhere?
She did. I'm following.
Okay. And Professor Mernica, I've been getting on her. It's Friday night. My mom keeps saying, I keep saying tomorrow night. Professor Mernica, she has to launch her Professor Monica Lewis Page, because she is a licensed therapist, and I am pushing all my mentees out and up. Out and up, because it's time. And so I thank you all so much for being a part of this. I thank you for sewing, even if it's $5, if it's $10, if it's $20, to help us be able to do what we need to do. All right, you all have a great night. You all give some positive affirmations to these beautiful ladies who took time out to pour into us what we need to help the next generation. And Priscilla is saying, yay, we are so excited. All right, you all have a good night. And I will see you all in 2 days.